Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today, going to share something that is a little bit different. It is not about protein. It is not about entrepreneurship, but it is more about mindset. So lately, life has been a bit of a transition for myself. A lot has been changing that is very different from the last decade of my life. If you listen to the life update episode of the Flow State podcast, I will leave a link down below. You may know what I'm talking about. So this is going to be an applicable practice that I'm going to share today that might be great for someone who is struggling with unknowns or unanswered questions. Maybe you have a lack of certainty or something's just feeling a little bit out of your control. This is a practice that I learned from some of my soul teachers, as I like to call them. And I had mentioned over on my Instagram story about this practice that I do of consulting myself. I was working with one of my life coaches a few years ago, and she's like, "You're really great at giving advice. If someone has a business question, you'll jump right in, you'll give very valuable advice." She's like, when you have unknowns, when you have questions, I don't see you. And she challenged me, which we love in a life coach. She challenged me, I don't see you asking yourself for the answers, consulting myself. And I think so often I see this in my health coaching with my clients. So often we have the answer, but we are seeking an external source for validation that that answer is correct. Over on Instagram, I'd asked, do you want me to share this? Because I have a recorded process for this. I guess we could call it a meditation of sorts, but it is just a regular practice that you can implement. It's like a 5 to 10 minute eyes closed situation. And so many of you replied yes. So that is why I'm making this video. I'm going to share the video that was pre-recorded for a goal setting workshop that I hosted a few years ago. Hopefully it is helpful for you and something that you implement yourself. Please make sure to leave a comment below if you found this practice helpful, if you have questions about it, if you're trying to implement it, but you're like, is this right? Comment below for sure. And then don't forget to subscribe and come back for more content like this. Let me know what kind of content you guys want to see too. So leave a comment below about what you're looking for, what you want to know. Entrepreneurship, protein, health, women's health, wellness, whatever you got. Let's go, team. Thanks for being here. All right, let's consult ourselves. Okay. This isn't something that I thought I would be sharing really ever, because I have always felt like I've had a very low emotional intelligence, but I have put a lot of effort and work into building that over the last 6 or 7 years. And the inner child, inner being relationship is one that I learned from some of my soul teachers. So if you do not know Liz Hayes, she is pure magic. And this is something that she brought into my life, and I've continued to dive deeper through someone who has studied under her, Britt Whitaker. I'll include their info below. But both of them do a lot of inner child, inner being work. So what is inner child, inner being? I have talked throughout this workshop about the 2 different identities, the limiting identity and the expanded identity. And I would compare those to the inner child and the inner being, as well as like the ego, or maybe it is you and a higher being. So I just wasn't really aware of this relationship with me and me. So what's the benefit basically? The benefit of these exercises is to hear all angles of us and to release some of the grip that we have on decisions, release some of the grip that we have on our knowing, release some of the grip that we have
on just the everyday, like crazy emotions that come and go, and the movement. Life is movement, right? So our inner child is where we hold emotion. The inner child throws tantrums. The inner child is us in our, everyday connected being. It is our fear and our confusion and our laughter and our play. So all of what we experience in our daily life, our inner child, right? We're carrying patterns from our past, from our childhood. And then we have the inner being. So the inner being is our higher self. It is that expanded identity. It is who we are becoming, our wisdom and our knowing. So one of the things that Britt taught me is to create our inner container. This is a place where we can bring together inner child and inner being. This is a place for you and you to conversate, to feel safe, to experience curiosity, and to do some of the inner work with yourself. It is a safe place. And for us to hear the complaints of our inner child. Our inner child loves to complain. And those complaints are really, really good information for us to listen to. Okay, so what I would like to do, I'd like for us to create our inner container together. I did this, and the reason that we're creating an inner container is so that it is a familiar place that we can go back to with our inner being and our inner child when we are feeling in moments of fight or flight, when we are confused, when we are just like seeking something. And I created this space. I actually created a Pinterest board that is my inner container. That way I can more easily visualize it in my head. And I love to walk in the door of this inner container and I can see me and the posture of me, and the posture of me as my inner child. And then I can see me as my higher self. What does she look like? How does she hold herself? How does she conduct her conversation with my inner child? Where my inner child is maybe like slumped over and feeling shame and regret and all these things. And the inner being is like, okay, let's, higher. It is a glowy super Monica. So I'm going to guide you through creating your inner container. So I'd like you to close your eyes and imagine an ideal space. Space for you to meet you and only you. This may be somewhere familiar. This may be somewhere new. It may be somewhere you desire in your life. It could be indoors or outdoors. It's just a space for you and you. How does it smell? Maybe there's candles. Maybe it's fresh cut grass. Maybe it just smells clean. What colors are present? What material is the floor? What colors are the walls? Is there furniture? What's the vibe? Are there sounds, textures? Really feel into this space. There's furniture, maybe there's fun pillows. Are there rugs? Are you outside? Is your feet in the dirt? Are you at the beach? Is there a breeze? What's the weather like? Build this space. Once you've created the space, know that it can always evolve and change. This is your space. You can redecorate at any time you'd like. Now go to the door, or however you entered the space, and welcome you. Welcome the inner child. Welcome the inner being. Welcome all the things that are important to you. All your desires, your fears, your longing. Invite everyone from your day to leave your mind, to exit your container. This is just a space for you and you. Let your inner child see your inner being, and your inner being see your inner child. I see you, inner child. I see you, inner being. Taking a moment to linger in this space. You're here to make what's next for you real. With desires, there's always an unknown. Our inner child will continually ask, but how? How do I do this? What do I do next? How do I figure this out? How do I make this work? What's next? Take this moment to hold the desire within your inner child and let your inner being hold it. Your inner being may say something like, I see your desire for what's next. I see your fear. I see your eagerness. I see your efforts and excitement. Let your inner child ask your inner being, show me what's next. Show me what I need to achieve my desire. Show me my next step. With these questions, let the unknown be released. Release the not knowing. Pass it over with faith and guidance. Pass it over with faith and guidance. Sit in this space, the space of your sync up. Feel into your inner child, your desires, your fear, your excitement, and feel into the knowing of your inner being. Slowly wake yourself up from your inner container. Wiggling toes and fingers, going out the door or the entrance of your inner space, and re-entering into your current reality. So the inner container is a practice Britt taught me and is something that I like to do at the end of my day. I usually do it once I've gotten into bed, teeth are brushed, and I am turning to me. I am about to go to sleep. I let everyone out the door of my inner space, like it's a dinner party. Everyone goes out the door. That has been there in my day. I excuse them. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming. Goodbye. And I just let it be me and me. And I have noticed since starting this practice, you'll start to notice and be more aware of signs and signals and guidance from your inner being on what might be next, what the next step is. You will acquire knowing at a much more rapid pace. So this work is still work that I am learning, but I wanted to share because it is a practice to me that really helps with the uncomfiness of having big desires and wanting to know and not knowing, and then getting comfortable in the not knowing and getting comfortable passing the not knowing to my inner knowing. Hopefully we enjoyed this. I'm really excited to hear what you guys think and if it's something that you decide to bring into a normal practice for yourself.